Alongside him, Bastiaan van Nieuwenhuizen for Kjellerup. And we're away. Good start from Terry Hawken by the looks of it. He's managed to keep everyone behind for the moment. It looks like Lucarelli dancing to the inside. Oh, he's going to be on the other side for turn one though. Here comes Bastiaan van Nieuwenhuizen. He's got a run on Terry Hawken. Oh, huge crash. One of the Volkers has gone straight on at the hairpin. He can't stop. It's Dan Greenlaw. Greenlaw has had an almighty shunt heading towards the hairpin. That was a huge accident. Loads of wheels torn off. What happened there? He's just gone wide. He's just run onto the grass and lost it completely. Completely unforced error there from Dan Greenlaw. Too optimistic, too enthusiastic to just try and slingshot around the outside of what looked like, I'm not sure what that is, a blue car. That would maybe be Schiller and the Simpson, I think he was trying to go around the outside of, and it just hasn't worked. That forced Bastiaan van Nieuwenhuizen to go conservative and bottle his move, because of course with that Volkler flying down the inside, he couldn't risk following through with that move. He had to stop and let him go past, and it caused a huge bottleneck. Look at the traffic jam. Everyone's just had to stop because there's no room. It's really hard to tell who's gained and who's lost through that, apart from the obvious. Daniel Melville's up to third. Look at that. Daniel Melville is now P3. Cara has sort of done okay with that. He's fifth now. Lucarelli, oh, he has suffered greatly through that turn one stramash, down to seventh. Not a good start for Venturi at all. Oh my goodness, it's a double disaster. A double disaster for Volkler. Both cars are out in the first lap of the race. What's happened there? He's just pulled over to the side of the road. There's no technical failure. He's missing a wheel. He's missing a right rear wheel. Someone's run into him. Or he's run into... Oh my goodness, he's been squeezed. One of the Rosenforth squeezed him into the wall when he was trying to overtake. I imagine that would have been hard to tell, actually. Tell you what, if he's running with the Rosenforth, that means he's dropped way down the order at the start. He started the race from 11th place. He's dropped down to something like 16th to 17th off the start. Tried too hard to make up positions, and he's thrown it in the wall again. Too many mistakes from the reigning world champion. You'd think after all these years in the sport, he would know how to run through the field, how to take positions cleanly. You'd think his experience would allow him to make better decisions. But time and time again this year, he has made the wrong choice when it comes to lapping cars or overtaking for position. It's been an absolute nightmare for De Bock so far this year. And it's hard to justify him staying in that seat for next year with that many mistakes from someone so experienced. It's almost as if he's starting to decline as a driver. 2017 must have been his peak. Anyway, back to the front. Hawken leads 1 second over Bastiaan van Nieuwenhuizen. As we wait for our picture to come back, it's paused at the moment. Now let's take stock and see where we're at. Daniel Melville, third position for Kama, great start for him. Fourth position, Jean-Luc Schiller. Wow, look at the start there from Shane Walsh in the Gilles. He has ended up in the top 10 off the start. That is something to behold. I wonder how long he can hold off that for, especially with the very, very fast duo of Mark Dagnall in the Jones and Philippe Nicolas in the MRT right behind. And I tell you who else has had a good start. Nick Nermester. He was in no man's land at the start. He's jumped to 12th now. I imagine then, given that he was 14th, it was, no, not Rick Simpson, sorry, Carter Simpson that will have been involved in that tangle with Thomas De Bock, given the kind of positions that they were dueling for at the time. This is a sight we've already gotten used to so far this season, and I imagine we're going to see a few more times before the end of the year. That bright red fusion of Terry Hawken leading from the front and pulling away from those behind. Already you can see a very visible gap emerging between Hawken and Van Nieuwenhuizen. Melville looks like he might have to fend off Cara. He looks like he's going to catch those guys up and try and nick the position off them. Certainly that MRT, undoubtedly one of the best cars in the field. It'll be interesting to see how quickly Cara can deal with those cars who would probably consider traditional midfielders in the case of Schiller and Melville. Be interesting to see what Van Nieuwenhuizen's true pace is. It was a bit of a washout last time at the A1 ring. It was really hard to tell what the true pace of the cars involved were. But now it's a little drier this afternoon. Not completely dry, but sort of mixed conditions, and that might give the Keller up the chance to shine it needs. What do we have going on elsewhere around the field? There is, Voivolov getting a tap there from Lucarelli. He may have dropped the 7th. Oh, and there is Shane Walsh. Oh, he's run wide at the hairpin, maybe even forced wide a little bit by Dagnall diving down the inside at the hairpin, and that's cost them another position to the opportunistic Philippe Nicolas in the MRT. Up next. Oh, he's wide! Hawken runs wide! Hawken has cost himself the lead with an unforced driving error, and Bastian van Nieuwenhuizen leads a Grand Prix for the first time. The rookie who just made the switch to Kjellerup only a race ago suddenly finds himself leading the race. Hawken again with the unforced errors. We saw this last time out at the Red Bull Ring. We've seen it a couple of other times as well. Remember, cast your mind back to the very first race of the season at Adelaide. He was leading there as well and threw it away with an unforced driving error, and he's done it yet again. Clearly this is a talented youngster we have here, but again those rookie errors keep creeping in, and he's going to have to work on cutting those out if he does want to win the championship first time of asking. Again, looking further back down the field, we were just talking about Shane Walsh. He's lost that 11th place. It looks like there's a queue forming in the midfield, although we're now on board with Alexei Voivolov, someone you sort of expect to be doing well enough given he's the team leader of the team. Here goes a try from Lermester on Walsh. I was just talking about him. He can't make it stick though, the door's closed on him, and Carter Simpson in the Rosenforth seems to be leading a train of cars as well, with Shinobu Katayama in the other Venturi right behind. Katayama looks like a little bit too far behind to try anything on this occasion. Let's see if the draft gets him there. Nah, he's too far back. Oh, is he trying a lunge? He's trying a lunge anyway. That was looking awfully brave. It'll be interesting to see how that develops out. Is she really going to try? Nah, she thinks better of it and bides her time. Looks like it's the other Rosenforth right behind. Looking to capitalise though. Gregor Pascal. Don't think going around the outside of that turn is going to do him any good. That's certainly not going to work out. There is Jari Kekkonen at the back, unsurprisingly. Here we are. Alessandro Lucarelli down the inside of Voivolov. No, he closes the door and he's going to have to bide his time again, and that puts Lucarelli at risk from Mark Dagnall in the lead. Jones now. The Ford engine little down on power though compared to the Renault in the back of the Yamaha in the back of the Venturi. It will be interesting to see if he can make something happen. Nope, just too far behind and not enough power, not enough grunt in that car to make something happen there. Mistelio has ended up between Naoki Shinjo and the USD is out. Is that a technical failure or is he run wide? Oh, he's run into the pit wall and lost a wheel just like Katayama in qualifying. This time it's compatriot Shinjo for USD. That was completely unforced. Wasn't really under any pressure there either, running by himself. Disappointing for USD because it looked like a reasonable enough performance, sort of 13th, 14th kind of position. There was a chance to maybe get a point if there was a high level of attrition. That now out the window. Oh, Van Rijkens almost runs into the back of, goodness me, who was that? I think that would have been Marco Janschur in the NRE. Yeah, I'm 99% certain that was Janschur in the MRE. He almost ran into the back of... That would be his own teammate then, wouldn't it not? Jeez, Danny Van Rijkens, only a single race out of the sport and already he's looking a little rusty. Got to be careful not to lock up the brakes when it's your own teammate right ahead. Meanwhile, we switch to the onboard with Daniel Melville, and it doesn't seem like Schiller is able to hold on to the back of him. Obviously the view a little obscured, but seems to be making a small gap to the first of the two Simpson Motorsports cars there. Not a bad effort from him so far at all. Almost pulled off some heroics at the last race, and it looks like he might be in for an even better result this time, if of course the car holds up. Reliability a big question for Yamaha at the moment. Neither car made the finish last time out, of course. Whoa, late move from Mark Dagnall down the inside of the final hairpin. No, again can't make the move work. Lucarelli has it covered. That'll compromise his exit, so watch out for Fredo Mastolio, especially with the power from that Renault engine. Nice, powerful, loads of horsepower compared to that gutless Ford in the back of the Jones. That looked like a wheel just setting out on its own. Has someone crashed? Not for the moment though, it might just be some debris from another crash earlier on. I imagine the track will very soon turn into a car park with the amount of people who are running off into walls, making mistakes. And there is Masillo attempting a half-hearted move on Dagnall, but no surprise there, didn't work out. Not really an overtakings on that particular corner unless you're already all the way alongside, as we saw demonstrated by Thomas de Bock at the beginning of the race. If you can't get all the way alongside, don't even try, because you will end up with a wheel missing. Meanwhile, this midfield pack of destiny, lots of different cars from different teams. Nobody particularly standing out as making their way up the field. We've already got Dagnall and Nicola kind of stalled for progress. We thought they would be sort of very quickly moving up the order, but still down in 8th and 10th after 8 laps, albeit there are 124 laps in total, so plenty of time yet to make a difference. I tell you what, Barry Morey, very disappointing so far, as Mark Dagnall looks up and makes a mistake through the double S bend. Uncharacteristic mistake there, maybe trying a little too hard, getting a little flustered, trying to find his way past the Venturi of Lucarelli. He's been stuck there for a little while now, and I think it's starting to get to him slightly. He'll have to be careful because he does have those two very fast cars in Freno Mastolio and Felipe Nicola right behind, so can't really afford to put a foot wrong when going past. There is Danny van Gijkens again holding up the gilet by the looks of it of Aurelien Mol. Words I didn't really expect to be seeing at all this year, anyone holding up his gilet. Speaking of which, Melville not really able to match the pace of that lead duo, slipping back towards, well, to be fair, it's a pretty constant gap between Melville and Schiller for the moment, those two cars looking pretty evenly matched. Oh, we have a late dive bomb from Lucarelli on Boivolov, but again, they're covering that exit to the hairpin too well. It's just not working. Everyone is... Oh my goodness, Nermester's thrown in the wall! Nermester has carbon copy of Naoki Shinjo's retirement. Nermester just runs wide on the exit of the final corner and whacks off a wheel. It's the third time in 2 days we've seen that accident happen, and Kjellerup are down to a single car now. Nermester obviously not impressing at all compared to his teammate who is currently leading the race. It's really not been a good couple of races now for Nick Nermester, not looking at all good in comparison to his new teammate so far. It'll be interesting to see. I apologise for the interruption. Let me see if I can get those guys to shut up. Okay. Now where were we? That is again Lucarelli just covering Dagnall, and Dagnall just so frustrated he can't get a look in anywhere else. That Ford, and it's down on horsepower compared to the Yamaha in the back of the Venturi, and it's really not helping his cause at all, although he does seem to have a good toe off the back of the exit to the last hairpin, but again he just cannot get close enough at the end of the straights. He's looking like he's going to be stuck, and I think he's... Is that another car in the wall at the exit? I don't believe it. That's number 3 now. Danny van Gijkens was obviously not having a good race anyway. You saw him lock up a few laps ago, almost running into his teammate, all the way down in 20th. But this is starting to get quite embarrassing for the midfield guys. So many of them making that same mistake into that same pit wall entry. It's just as well the wall's there, isn't it? Otherwise they might just start running into the pit lane. It'll be interesting to have a look and see who else might run into that wall before the race ends. We've got 3 already and it's only lap 12. Imagine how many more might make that mistake. Terry Hawken, an interesting case now because he's actually not making inroads on Bastian van Nieuwenhuizen at all. He made that mistake a few laps ago, running wide and conceding the lead. And with how good that Fusion car is, you would have expected him to quickly go back to van Nieuwenhuizen's tail and challenge for lead. But he hasn't even caught him yet, never mind threatened to overtake him. It'll be interesting to see how that plays out in strategy in that case. Is van Nieuwenhuizen running lighter than Hawken? Maybe the strategies are different and that could explain the speed differential being so low. We'll have to just wait and see how that pans out. Meanwhile, we go back to that chronicle of Mark Dagnall continuing to fail to overtake Alessandro Lucarelli in the lead Venturi. Well, I see lead Venturi, never the only Venturi, as far as I can see. Oh no, Katayama still running down in 13th. Making up a couple of positions there, Katayama. Let's see if she can catch her teammate as the race progresses. Again, Dagnall a little far behind. It's going to take a bit of a lunge for him to get the job done in this lap as well. Back on board with the leader, Dutchman Bastian van Nieuwenhuizen. Rookie for this year, last year's Auto Reject 3.5 champion, of course, just narrowly beating Marco Janša to the title. Janša down in, must be something like 18th or 19th place at the moment for Nurminen. So interesting to see how their fortunes have very dramatically gone apart since then. Again, that tight midfield battle. You imagine Dagnall's going to have another go at the hairpin, but again, Lucarelli covers it before Dagnall could even try. Lucarelli stuck in a bit of a rock and a hard